Some of us may discover a passion early on in life, some may not. But if your child has a really burning passion and wants to pursue something professionally, as a parent, how much should you encourage them? How much should you push them? Or how much should you just let them be? I've always loved acting and performing, but I was also equally studious. And my parents were both in the creative field, so they always encouraged us to do whatever we chose. I'm tremendously grateful to them because I do think they exposed us to various options and also gave us the confidence to take some chances. On the show today, we meet one of the most celebrated cricketers of all time, Virat Kohli.
Never compromise on your passion. You make mistakes and learn from them.
Who talks about the role his parents have played in helping him pursue his passion for cricket.
I remember myself always wanting to play cricket, and even before that my parents told me that I always wanted someone to throw a ball at me so I can hit it.
A powwow with mothers on how much parents should push their kids and how much they should hold back.
Parents have to learn to be less anxious, knowing that the child will find their way, but you have to believe in your child.
And a chat with a talented young singer and her parents about their journey of helping her pursue her passion.
Out of the classroom stuff is so important to you becoming a holistic human being.
I met an incredible cricketer whose parents took great pains to help him pursue his passion for cricket that he discovered at an early age. And that, along with his own very hard work, has helped him to become the hope of billions of people. We have with us the superstar of Indian cricket. Breaking records and setting scoreboards on fire seems to have become a norm with him. Not just in T20s, but ODIs and Test cricket too. He does a huge amount of good for the less privileged children and for various NGOs through his foundation. We have with us the amazing Virat Kohli. Thank you so much, Virat, for being on the show.
Pleasure being here.
I'm really touched because I know how much good work you're doing. I actually want to start by going back in time to when you were a little boy. What kind of child were you?
I'm the youngest of 3 children. I have an elder brother, elder sister, so I was probably, the most pampered one. Pretty naughty kid, pretty sharp as well, but I think I was the naughtiest of the 3 siblings at home.
So your passion for cricket, did it develop quite young or did you grow into it?
No, I was quite passionate about it. That's why they call it religion in India, because growing up, every child has a cricket bat at home. Yes. Starts with a plastic bat, playing with a plastic ball, and then you go on to wooden bats and playing with tennis balls and stuff like that. So my story was no different. Of the memories I have from childhood, from wherever I can remember, I remember myself always wanting to play cricket. And even before that, my parents told me that I always wanted someone to throw a ball at me so I can hit it.
So how open were your parents to your passion for cricket? Did they really encourage it from a young age? When did you sort of get into it more seriously?
When you're really small, obviously you have something that you really like and you want to do it most of the time that you have.
Yeah.
But the bigger challenge is how you balance it out with studies as well, because that is supposed to be such an important factor, not just getting educated, but to get marks.
Yeah.
Is the one thing that children are always pressurized and pushed for.
Yeah.
My father was a lawyer. He really studied hard for it. So he was always a little inclined towards me doing my studying bit as well.
Yeah.
But that's where my mom sort of backed me a lot of times and said not to put too much pressure on me because it gets too much for a child to do both.
Both. But that's amazing. So what kind of age was that?
I joined a professional academy when I was 8.
Wow.
It is a tricky period, to be honest, because you don't know if you're going to succeed or not.
Yeah.
You have to invest all your time in it. The family has to back you. There will be challenges throughout, but that's where, you need that support from your family as well.
Your dad used to take you for your classes and drive you there. Did he have to sacrifice quite a lot in order to do all that as you got more and more serious and better? And your mom, of course.
See, my mom could not contribute so much because she had a lot on her plate anyway. So she couldn't travel or take me to practice sessions and stuff like that. My father used to do it most of the time. When my brother had time, he used to, take me to games and practice sessions. So basically, I was looked after, by my family throughout. But those initial years are very tough because when I joined the academy, till about 5 years, I did not get to play state cricket, from where your professional career actually starts. So those 5 years were really tough for the family in terms of what's going to happen, whether he's going to make it or not. He's compromising on his studies as well. But that's where the child also needs to be sure of what he really wants to do. I think that
that's
helps
amazing
in a big
to
way.
have that at that young age, because it's not always easy to know. And I think there are few people who actually have that burning passion and want to follow it single-mindedly.
Yeah.
And then the hard work, of course, that goes with it, and the support of of everyone else.
I got support from all ends, although my sister was always pushing me to study more. It was her responsibility to make sure I study properly.
Yeah.
That for me was a bit of a challenge initially, but eventually when they understood that I'm doing what I'm doing, I love it, I'm working really hard.
And you're doing very well.
It's all result based, right?
Yeah.
Exactly what you said. It's a two-way thing. It's a
Yeah.
give and take where the parents show trust in you, but at the same time you need to show them that you're working hard.
Yeah.
And you're actually making a difference. You're not taking anything for granted.
Now, everything was going great. You were doing so well. When your father passed away, that was a big blow for you and for the family. How did you deal with that?
See, honestly, that's probably the toughest thing I've faced till now when I was growing up, because as I said, I mean, he was the one who supported me throughout in whatever I wanted to do. And then he saw me, get better and do better in all the games that I played.
Yeah.
And then I got to play for the state team, which is the Ranji Trophy, which is the first class level. It's supposed to be a big break for any cricketer.
Yeah.
I was playing with, some of the people that have represented the country, and, I was so happy that I'm getting an opportunity to do that. And in the very first season, he passed away. He had health issues. And so that it's a classic case of, things come to you at different times in different ways.
Yeah.
And that for me was a shock when it happened, but it taught me a lot in terms of how important, it is to be focused and be honest with what you're doing. Firstly, not to take it for granted, because life can be very short. It can change very quickly. People have spoken about, me going to the game and stuff like that. I just did what, I thought was right at that time. I did not feel like waiting at home and missing a cricket game. That's how much importance this sport holds in my life.
I lost my father some time ago, and I always say, I believe they're always with us. I also feel that, if you put yourself into what you love, then there's a hand of them somewhere there.
Absolutely. The biggest challenge for us as a family was to get over the insecurities, because suddenly you have the main member of the family who's taking care of everything, who's handling a lot.
Yeah.
Suddenly he goes away, and then you're not sure about anything that's happening. We didn't have a house to ourselves. We were staying on rent at that time, so things became a lot more difficult from that point of view. And obviously, as a kid growing up, you've given up on studies. You're not focusing on that at all. Sometimes you felt, what if I don't succeed in cricket? I haven't studied enough. So all those insecurities start creeping in when you have a disaster like that.
Yeah.
But things sort of made their own way in terms of me getting a break 2 years after that in the Indian team. It gave me a motivation, but I wouldn't say it was 100% clear vision.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had our challenges in terms of insecurities about everything, where we're going to go as a family, what's going to happen in future.
Yeah.
My brother was married, so he had to take care of his family.
Yeah.
And, those sort of things. I did not understand those things too much as a youngster, but now when I look back at them, I understand the importance of, that situation in my life. And maybe it just made me more rigid in terms of what I wanted to do.
You, of course, made it by putting everything into cricket. If you had to give advice to a youngster who was passionate but perhaps not as focused, and to their parents, just like a tip to parents out there.
My only advice would be, never compromise on your passion. You make mistakes and learn from them. Don't be shy of making mistakes. As children or as youngsters, we're never left to explore ourselves, what's good or what's bad. We're always taught, we're always fearful of things, which I faced as well. But I made my mistakes. Somehow I had the courage to make mistakes. Initially, when I played in the IPL, when I played in the Indian team, I wasn't the most disciplined person around. I understood that, my outlook was different. People did not like me so much when I came in initially. But the kind of discipline I have now, that I didn't even have half of it back then. I had to make choices. I had to make some changes. If anyone else had pushed me to improve my lifestyle, I wouldn't have. But those things came to me. So, I think the core has to be really honest. The other things can be taken care of.
That's amazing. And also, I think you're doing a fantastic job with giving back. And just like you said, a lot of times if people achieve a certain level, they may become complacent. But it seems that you are going the other way and doing a lot for charity through your foundation, doing a lot for the aged as well. Mm-hmm. So would you like to tell us a little bit about the Virat Kohli Foundation?
The foundation focuses on helping the underprivileged because I felt like I was from a middle-class family, so I probably had enough finances for me to go out there and buy kit or, get the right kind of facilities to practice. But someone might have, great talent, but he just doesn't have the infrastructure or the support around him financially to get up there and to practice to go to the next level. And the old age home was an initiative that it was actually informed to me by someone. I was, very happy that I went there actually to make even 1% difference in their lives, or give them happiness, or give them some sort of support, or a hope. Is all that you can do, and that's exactly what I felt after going there.
That's really, really inspirational, really wonderful. And I wanted to tell you that on the show we're also running an auction to raise money for an NGO of our celebrity guest choice. And in order to do that, we'd like you to pick a piece of furniture from here, and then you have to sign that piece of furniture, and you can choose what NGO or what organization you'd like to donate the proceeds of the auction to. So your time starts now to find the furniture. It's in this direction. Sorry, can I ask you to bring it down here?
Oh yeah,
I'm scared if I do it, it'll fall on my foot.
Sure, I'll do it.
Thank you. Thank you.
There we go.
Believe in yourself always. So Virat, where would you like the proceeds of this auction to go?
To the Virat Kohli Foundation for helping the underprivileged get better lives.
I hope we raise lots of money for the Virat Kohli Foundation.
Hopefully. Make a difference.
Yes. So you've given us such wonderful advice that you seem like you're almost ready to be a dad. Do you think you'll be a good dad?
I think I'll be a great dad. I cannot say when it's going to happen, but I think I'll make a wonderful dad.
So do you think you'll be a hands-on dad?
Yeah, I will be.
Okay, so let's give you a challenge now. Let's see if you can change this. I'm going to count now and see how quickly you can put this pamper on this teddy bear.
Come, my child.
Time starts now.
Oh,
tick,
God.
tick, 1.
Arey wow, this is pretty easy. I think I'll be great at it.
Tick, 10, super! Well done.
My child is ready.
I mean, it is ulta, but that doesn't matter. That was an amazing chat.
It was a
Thank you so
pleasure
much
being
for
here.
that.
Thank
Really.
you.
Thank you. Coming up, a powwow with mothers on how much parents should push their kids and how much they should hold back.
Parents who don't allow their children to fail, they don't end up taking any risk.
And a chat with a talented young singer and her parents about their journey of helping her pursue her passion.
Out of the classroom stuff is so important to you becoming a holistic human being.
As parents, we always want what's best for our kids. We want them to be happy and successful at whatever they choose to do. I personally believe it's important to expose them to options and to encourage them, but sometimes it's equally important to hold back. We met a few parents who have different views on this topic to understand the pros and cons of each situation. So thank you all of you for being here. It's really a pleasure. I think the term that's, I would say, the most controversial and very few people admit to being one is a tiger mom. So Leena, tell us, are you a tiger mom? What is a tiger mom? Tell us.
I don't know whether I am a tiger mom.
Don't worry, you'll still be allowed on the show even if you're not. But
I'm sure people do perceive me as a tiger mom many times though. But actually, I think the term tiger mom is very relative. For me, it just started when my son started swimming when he was 4 years old. And we just kind of put him in the local club galas and he excelled, and from then on the coaches encouraged him. It just went further from there, and I realized that I wanted him to become a holistic, complete human being.
Now, Ruchi, on the other hand, has very proudly announced that she's a laid-back dinosaur mom. Completely. So I would love to hear more about that.
So actually, I'm like a really lazy mother, I would say, but I have a tiger child actually. So, so he's one of those, my older one, and he's one of those guys where he loves football. He loves his football, so he has to get up every day in the morning at 5:30 and go for his school practice. And sometimes I'm like, Viman, can we just bunk it? And he's like, no. He's the one who's like me, no, I have to go, which is great,
That's great.
But my younger one is probably more like me, and he's happy being like that. But we've realized that in spite of calling myself a dinosaur or a laid-back mom, there are certain things I'm very particular. So when it comes to schooling or when it comes to taking up some sport, I think it gets you this discipline, which is very inherent and which really makes a lot of difference as you grow up.
Is this something that's kind of happening now where kids are doing a lot of these activities and classes perhaps to keep them busy while mothers are doing something else, parents are doing something else? Or are we kind of just like putting loads of classes on them? Mansi, you have a whole platform where you list out a lot of these things. So what's your take?
When I share stuff that kids are actually supposed to do or parents actually need to do with kids, I always say pick something that the parent is not good at. You know, that's my way of looking at a class. If I don't have a particular skill set, then I outsource it. But I try to keep it in-house as far as I can, and that's where I feel that all the DIY stuff and all the functional stuff and all the creativity comes into play, because that's my time to bond with my child.
As a clinical psychologist, is there any way of knowing quite honestly as lay parents, like how many things should the kids be doing? Should they just be left on their own and to explore nature? Should we be even doing this exposing at this young age, or should it be something that starts later?
I think one, even as adults, we are still finding our passions. So I think it's a good idea to start focusing on a child's interest or strength rather than term it passion so early in life.
You know, when it comes to adults as well, do you find that there's a tendency for some people to kind of live their dream through their kid?
Absolutely. Which is worrisome because the parent's self-esteem is linked to the child's self-esteem.
His report card.
Yes. So every time the child doesn't do well, the child feels that I have made my parents unhappy. So as a result of which the child has shame and poor self-esteem. Parents who don't allow their children to fail, they don't end up taking any risk. They would only choose activities which are safe.
I'd love to hear just a line from each of you on what you'd like to say to our audience when it comes to children pursuing their interests.
Parents have to learn to be less anxious, knowing that the child will find their way, but you have to believe in your child.
Leena?
Definitely make your child pursue any sport. Maybe not competitively, but seriously. Being a sports person, one of the things you learn is the ability to fail and live with it.
Yeah.
And the fact that failing is as important as winning. And most importantly, also learning that from a young age about making choices, because everything in life is a choice. So you have to choose. Are you going to wake up at 4:30? Do you still want to go for that sleepover? You have to make that choice.
Because in the world that we live in, me and my husband both believe that we should be involved in their life. I'd rather be a friend than be a mother who will not be comfortable, you know, telling his deepest secrets.
Thank you, Ruchi. And Mansi, anything you'd like to say?
Don't think that there is a finish line. Just let them be. Worry about the skills that they will pick up on, en route to the journey. It doesn't really matter whether or not they will reach the finish line, but also that does not mean that dream small. Always dream big.
Honestly, you guys, it's been a really interesting discussion, which is why we've had it. So thank you all of you for being here. It's really a pleasure. Coming up, a chat with a young and talented singer about her burning passion for music and how her parents are helping her pursue it.
She's not a performing monkey. I can't just tell her, come on, stand and perform for my friends.
Yeah.
She'll say, Mother, that is disgraceful.
I believe that we as parents are always learning from our children. And I think every child and parenting style is unique. So you have to do what works for you and your family. I met some dear friends, Bandana and Ravi, whose 14-year-old daughter Myra is a talented singer and wants to pursue it professionally. Myra, when did you start loving to sing?
Ever since I was a child, I just loved singing, and I would just love listening to music. I listen to it every day, whether it's at school or in the car.
So Bandana, when you see that your child has a talent, when do you know how much to push that talent and how much to kind of hold back?
I don't push her because I think the moment you're a singer, you're a creative person, you have a softer soul. I see how she is with music and she zones out.
Yeah.
She's not a performing monkey. I can't just tell her, come on, stand and perform for my friends.
Yeah.
She'll say, Mother, that is disgraceful. But that's where my ex-husband comes in, because he's sort of much more focused about making sure that, she does get a certain amount of training and there is a bit of strategy into it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a nice balance between the two.
It was so lovely speaking to your mom and of course you. And now you know who we've got coming in.
Yes.
So it's going to be great to hear from him. Here is your daddy.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Bob.
Daddy.
What are your views on her pursuing her passion? What's your strategy?
I think strategic is probably overplaying it a little bit. I think, We were lucky enough to have the opportunity to take her to a studio when we were in Australia a year ago. I took the output of that and put it on my Facebook, and I have a lot of friends who are in entertainment, music, etc. And there was a lot of feedback from those sort of people saying, look, you have to encourage this. So I don't think the word is strategic, I think it's encouraging. At the end of the day, you know, as a parent, you provide your kid with opportunities, but it's up to Myra to take those opportunities.
What do you see the balance between pursuing this passion and academics?
Pythagoras' theorem is not necessarily important for every kid, you know, and Myra has a gift. Part of her role as a parent is to identify and help kids pursue their strengths as opposed to try and fit them all into one mold. Out of the classroom stuff is so important to you becoming a holistic human being.
Are there any tips you'd like to give for our viewers out there?
If you think you have a passion, just go for it. Yes, there will be obstacles. And yes, you will fail a couple of times, but you will succeed a couple of times as well. Just stick with it and then it'll be good at the end. So
that's great advice. Thank you, Myra. And thank you guys so much. It's really been a pleasure. And I really wish you all the best, Myra. I'm sure you're going to be on that stage and be that star. And I'm sure it's going to happen very soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
As a parent, I genuinely feel we should encourage our kids with whatever they choose to do. But if a child really has a burning passion and you can see their talent, sometimes it may be important to consult professionals to see how much you should push that passion. It's equally important to remember that failure is as important as success. Letting your kids know you love them, no matter whether they come first or last, I think goes a long way in building their confidence and making them know that no matter what, every child is unique and every child is a star. Next week, we meet a charismatic actor who talks about how he, his wife, and their son, along with the help of a superhero, defeated cancer.
It's too much to handle when it's happening, when you have that obstacle, when you have that hurdle. But if you're optimistic and if you have that hope, everything falls into place.
A powwow with 3 inspirational women about the obstacles that they have faced and dealt with in their life.
We have a happy life, but something within still hurts.
And a chat with a mother who's overcome a big obstacle. All these stories make us realize that with a positive attitude, one can overcome any obstacle.
God has still given me a life. Live it to the fullest and enjoy myself as much as I can.